I'm here. Hi, even. IT. Hello, Denizen of Misery. Hello, K-Trax. How are you all doing? Rots still have a gun, and a gun is deadly. And they can actually aim. They hit on 4s, not 5s. Except, you know, we've only got Rastak who also hits on 4s and 2s. How deadly can a Grots be to Imperial Guard PDF human? So I've been listening to Mad.Grotsknik, which is, I think it's the most recent book that focuses on arcs. So the lore is most up to date. It's a very interesting book, actually, especially from a writer's perspective. But how deadly can they actually be? You do see some Grots, you know, being quite stabby and killy. I mean, they can be deadly to an orc if you let them be. That's part of the lore. It used to be that the lore was for super hunched over, and like a Grot fully stood up is like as tall as a human, and an orc fully stood up is like as tall as a marine. But like Grots and orcs are both hunched over, but you know, that lore is seemingly gone now. Grots are much smaller, much weedier. Generally, Grots are weaker than a human. Even with a gun, Grots aren't the best. I mean, often the guns are going to be the extremely second-rate weapons. Like, it's the scavenging that no one else wants. It's the weapons that no other orc wants. So, you know, the weapons that are likely to explode in their hands, likely to go out of, you know, miss. Not because the Grot didn't aim properly, but just because the weapon failed. It just sent the shot wide like some sort of matchlock. I got golden maple brushes. I can finally make good highlights. Yeah! If you ever want to learn how to make good highlights and stuff with cheaper brushes like the Citadel STL ones. Did I pin it? I think there's a pinned message on the Warhammer Discord channel. But it teaches you how to... The job is basically, whenever you want to clean your brushes, your plastic brushes, you want to use hot water, like boiled water in a kettle or something, with a bit of white vinegar in it, well, a glug of white vinegar, and some dish soap. Well, you put the dish soap, just rub the dish soap into the brush. Then you put it into there, then you spread it around for hot water and stuff until the paint breaks and flecks off it. And then you dry it off. And then you put some matte clay on it. So like hair clay, but it has to be the matte one. And you just leave it for 24 hours and it gets a really nice point. Really good. I've been... I can show you what I've been doing with them. I've been mostly using them. Let me get my gloves on. So we can, Cupcon acting like a pip gun doesn't need one hit to kill someone. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, is that often the weapons are kind of on the weaker side of stuff. So sometimes you might find a Grot with an actual auto pistol or whatever, especially like if an orc decided to award them, or like a looted human weapon. But often, after a while, it won't be in good nick. The ammunition that they might be using might be orc-made ammunition. And because it's for a Grot, it's not necessarily going to be the best. But yeah, you could be shot by a Grot and it just bounces off your flak armor. Like, it'll be like being shot by a Nerf gun. However, the next shot with fire might be enough to blast somebody's head off or blast a hole in a tank. You never know. You never know what you're going to get with Grot weapons. Sometimes they have blunderbusses, which are extremely vicious. The most dangerous, though, is often when a Grot gets into melee, because as terrible as they seem to be, if the blades that they have will often be either stolen or ones that they made themselves, and they'll be wicked. It'll be like extremely sharp, really jagged piece of metal that are like glass or something that they just jam into you like a shiv and cut open your guts, and they're very, very good at aiming for the weak parts in their target. So yeah, Grots are deadly. Grots can kill people. But the main issue that you're usually going to find is that the equipment's going to be subpar. Usually, though, grots are deadly at range. If they do have a decent weapon, like something on the same level as an auto gun or a las gun, they're going to be as deadly as a guardsman. They are accurate. They take their shots well. They're also very good at hiding. So you'd find that they'll actually fight much more like you would expect, you know, a soldier to fight. They'll sneak, they'll go into cover, they'll aim properly, they'll probably like use the terrain to help them aim the weapon and stuff. So yeah, especially like well-equipped grots, they're scary. Grots are actually British in the orcs are basically British in 40k. Hello, Albatronic. Oh, there's boot-beside grots, like boot-beside grunts from Halo. Kind of. There's something called a distraction. Well, there's 3 types of grot, right, that are like that. Usually, grots don't do it on purpose; they get tricked. So you got distraction grots that, like, if you want to do something like that, they'd usually just have squigs. They have bomb squigs. But commandos use distraction grots, so if they need to distract someone so they can sneak behind them, they might just like throw one of the grots out. And the grot's job is just to like get the attention of the Umis or whatever and just run away. It might live, it might not. It's got to be convinced that will live. Or too scared not to, because it like either I do this and I might live, or I don't do it and I won't live because the orcs will smack my head in. And you sometimes get grots being tricked into stuff or being forced into situations. But generally, if you need something reliable like that, you just get a bomb squig. Just strap a few mines to a squig, tell it to run at the enemy, and it will happily do it. To be fair, grots for grunts who accidentally ignite their plasma grenades. Yeah. Or their methane tanks. But generally, yeah, grots don't do that. Are you referring to American levels of cheap or European cheap because you have access to brushes made of hair? I don't know. Generally, it's like when it comes to like that, so you got synthetic brushes and then brushes made of actual hair. Sable is they're very hard to get into America because it's illegal. Because it comes from the fair trade. Sable brushes are actually made from the fur of an endangered animal. It's considered a byproduct. So it's using bits of the tail hair from it. So it's considered a byproduct of it. Like they're not hunted for brush hair. But they are. Also, apparently, in some places, despite being endangered, they are considered a pest. Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I decided to stop using them and go on to synthetic. But when it comes to cheap synthetic brushes, like, do you know the ones you might buy, like the Citadel STL range? Or when you buy a pack of different sized watercolor brushes? And it might just be like $5 or a couple of quid or something. You can usually, with a bit of matte hair clay, good care, they can be quite good because it's like the Citadel brushes are not super expensive. I mean, they're a bit more of the expensive side, but they are actually quite good. The STL ones now know how to use them. I could show you what I mean, in which I can't remember what I did. Oh yeah, all of these guys are painted using predominantly just Warhammer brushes. If they're not finished, so ignore the black. The black is just a base colour that needs to be done. But yeah, all of the highlighting on these, this guy, the little bullets inside there, are actually painted metal. Did I do the weapon here? I don't know if I did. I didn't do his chainsword. Oops. I was doing the highlights of these guys today, but yeah, the golden thing here. For eyes here and the little light on the eyes, I did with the brushes. This guy I also did the eyes on. I can't get it to focus on his eyes. It's a very tiny eyes. One of them's blind eye. And kind of see there's a little bit of white in his eye, a little bit of black. Yeah, I used that just using this Citadel brush. Which is it? I did try my sable brushes, but I found that the Citadel brush was much better. Partly because it's just a lot stiffer, especially once you put matte clay on it, so it's much easier to get that pupil done. But yeah, this brush in the end, I did, that being said, I do think the sable ones, especially when you're still learning to paint, are amazing for like significantly improving your skill. But once you've gotten to that level of skill, you can paint it up fully. My set was under 50 bucks, quite happy with the result. I use Citadel brushes for big stuff and not for fine detailing. I'm also curious what your opinion is on this. So, you know how the gold standard for highlighting black is staggered on scale, green mixed with Abaddon black. Yeah, I don't do either of those colours. I use Rust Grey for my highlights, and I use predominantly, I do use a bit of Abaddon black. I predominantly use the contrast paint, Black Templar contrast. Like, generally when just getting the base coat on, I just throw Black Templar contrast on. Partly because it automatically does some of these, like, discoloration within it, which I'm purposely going for. But what I'll do is, like, certain areas here, I'm not super happy with. So I'll probably go over with Abaddon black again. And just fix up some of these issues, like where gold is where it's not meant to be and white and so on. But what I'll do, I've got a fully painted guy. Yeah, I use Rust Grey on my Templars. Partly because, well, it's a very nice colour to use because it's a layer colour. But it's mainly because I want that cool blue colour to it, and I want it to look worn and chipped, not highlighted. Like if I want to highlight, then what I'm just going to do is honestly just a bit of grey will be a better highlight or whatever. But yeah, I want it to feel just worn down, like dirt's getting onto it. Although I have learned some more stuff about dirt. Like you want to put it into the areas where the dirt will catch, like into the edges of the Imperial Fist, which I've actually painted on this guy. It's not very easy to tell there though. Oh yeah, this guy's face was painted with the Citadel brushes as well, I believe. So yeah, it's you can do quite well with the cheap artificial brushes. My brushes cost about 15 quid each, my sable ones, compared to this, which was like 4 quid. That's amazing. The top just fell off, bounced off my speaker, bounced off a, what's it called? This box. Bounced off the screen and then landed right next to my hand. Right next to the brush, just like, oof. That's amazing. I couldn't do that if I wanted to. Why have you just painted Stegodon and applied Black Templar contrast on it? That could work. These guys are painted Mechanicus symbol as the symbol standard, sorry, as the base of these ones. Partly just because I couldn't. Trying to get white painted on top of black is annoying and it requires a lot of thick layers. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of white bits on them. On top of that, you can't really do contrast. So if you do black as a base, you're going to have to then, like, this is a much lighter colour I want to use contrasts on. So then I have to base that a different colour. This leather is made using contrast, so I have to do a base of a leather. The purple is made using contrast, so I need a different base for the purple and for the skin and everything else. So I'm just getting a bunch of notifications. Okay, never mind. It's just speak trying to tell me to buy stuff. No, thank you. So I just use Mechanica Standard because it's just much easier to work with, and I just paint the contrast over it. Sometimes I get a really good look from it. These guys, I'm finding I'm not getting the look I want from painting the contrast over them. But painting it over black, for Space Marine armor gives a much nicer effect to what I want. But I think it's just because these guys, they have cloth and stuff. That being said, it's not too bad. I might go over with a contrast again rather than Abaddon Black over on the cloth areas. Because I do like that sort of, rougher, thinner look to it. And I might not highlight with Rust Grey. Instead, might use Mechanica Standard or maybe Administratum Grey to just, make it feel like cloth rather than the armor. Differentiate it. Same with the gloves. I actually do like how the gloves turned out with this. Like that little bit of grey with the darker crevices on it. Just the rest of the armor. I use Ulfrani Grey for my whites. Works well when I need to paint on black. Oh, I've been using at the moment Wraithbone. That's been heavily had Lamia contrast in it, and I found it's been working amazing. Not contrast, Lamia medium. And then what do I do? Oh, so then I do a bit of highlight with Cortex White. And then I've been using Apothecary White to get some shades in. But for the armor, I've put very, very watered down Black Templar Black. Extremely watered down. I did try Known Oil as well. Actually, was it Known Oil or was it super watered down Black Templar contrast? Was it Abaddon? I think it was just a really watered down black paint I did for all of the areas inside it. The crevices and stuff. It doesn't show super well. The picture blurs it. Yeah, unfortunately, it's for light and stuff. It makes it look a lot messier than it does. Yeah, okay, it looks a bit better. So yeah. There's been a lot of experimentation with these guys. I've not had a chance to paint them for a while, like all week. So I've only had like an hour or two to paint them before stream, which is one of the reasons, again, I forgot to bloody advertise. I've been listening to Mad Dog Grotznick for a really good book. Max Lancer! Forgot I named him that. Another VTuber for my collection. Hi, Chad Calvert. How you doing? Streams like, so I heard you like sales. Oh, Steam's doing another big sale. Oh, Mechanicus 2 is oh, that's it. I've not shown you the where is it? I don't have it here. Let's go back to New Talking. I forgot. Look at that. Look at the schedule for this week. Schedule. Mechanicus week. Because Mechanicus 2 is coming out on Thursday. So we'll play it twice. Yeah. And to prepare for it, we'll build some AdMech. And then I'll try spraying them on the Thursday or the Tuesday. So we got something to paint for the Sunday. I do have an idea of what I want my AdMech to look like. Actually, I might need to buy a cyan paint. That might be difficult. I mean, this is close to cyan. Wait, you can't see anymore. He doesn't even have a lance. A cup fella. He doesn't need a lance. But yeah, I've decided I'm going to go. I like how this looks. So I'm going to go back over all of my old painted Marines. Don't worry, I'm going to do it off stream. And paint all of the Templar symbols gold on them. Because I think that looks good and it helps differentiate them with gold. Also, I'm going to paint their edges of their armor, of their trim, sorry, and their shoulder pads all gold as well. So that I want to differentiate them from the Black Templars now. That'll be good. Cuptle. Small cupcat. So, but we got orcs to paint today. We've got, not orcs, we got grots. By the way, for those who don't know, his finger broke before he even got to him, like of a post. So I made a new finger from green stuff. And I like how you can't actually tell which one's which. I don't even know which one's which. I think it's this one. Because I do think I tried to get a nail on it, but it didn't go very well. Okay, where's my... I use this brush for dusting. There's bits of stuff on them. Let's dust them off. Let's dust them off. When I visit Cuptopia and come back home with cupcake fleas... No! It's you drew the cup cat. It was a small cup cat. It's not a cup flea. Or more accurately, it's a cupcake shaped like a tiny cup cat. My bud gifted me his pile of shame a few days ago, currently stripping them and thinking how I want to paint them. Or for Primaris models, I'm leaning towards white with Sakura pink with a gold trim. Oh, that's cool. That sounds fun. And where would the Sakura pink be? Like on the shoulder pads? On the helmets? I'm just dusting them because they get a bit dusty on the shelf where I keep them. And I've noticed I have a habit of sometimes painting, you know, bits of dust into the model, which isn't good. There we go. Just lightly going over. So these guys are going to be put onto my my battle wagon. Oh, for those who haven't seen it, I've actually still got one bit of my battle wagon that needs painting. But I'll show you my battle wagon because this is where they're going to be put. That's where that went. The battle wagon. Add more Daka. So this is made from some guardsmen. They were planetary defense force, looted chimeras. In reality, it's just a bunch of old chimeras that I really badly converted. And like when I was a kid, and badly painted. So I decided I'll scavenge them for my orcs. And look, so this is meant to represent a death roller on the front. These are sap cannons if I ever want to use as a looted battle fortress rather than a battle wagon. Daka. No, that says wow on the screen over there. You got these things. These are from the Dwarf Miners, you know, from Old World. That's from, you know, the Grot Guns. This guy. That guy. Same with that guy. This guy's from a war boss that we turned into a big mech in Mega Armor. A bunch of this stuff is just plasticard. These are from Death Dreads, these missiles that we're going to use as mortars. That's also from a Death Dread. But Yeet. The bit that needs painting still is this bit. Oh yeah, this is from a Knight. And Knight Defender. So yeah, obviously with Death Skulls, oh yeah, the extra shieldy stuff here is just from bits of terrain from the Orcs and Goblins. That's some of Photan. That's some for Orcs and Goblins Old World models. So yeah. I think it's fun. Wah! Oh yeah. And that's some an Orc back where he's meant to have a big shoot of the old Orc Boys kit. Oh gosh. Yes, need to paint this banner because it snapped off when we were painting it. So I glued it back on. Yeet. You're new. The painted. Just dip them in noon oil and you're done, bro. No. You spray them first. Find a colour you like spray them in Wraithbone White. Make sure you mix it up really well though with the Wraithbone White. You don't want it cracking like my paint I did for my Death Threads. This looks great. If only orcs were real. Didn't learn to use. I found what you want to do. If you want to if you want to learn how to paint super quick, and you don't care about the specific details, ignore the details. What you want to do is you take your models, like spray from whatever colour you want. I generally don't recommend painting white unless you really want to paint from white. But what you do instead is like if you want to paint from white, you instead paint from grey sear as an undercoat. So you take your spray can, grey sear it, because that's very light grey. And then you just take a big brush like this, or do I have the other brushes? No, one of the other super cool brushes for dry brushing. And you just go over your entire models, put some white on the end of it, make either Wraithbone, Korvax, whatever white you want. Do dry brushing, so what that means is you put paint on, tiny dab of water as well to thin it down. And then you just basically get as little left on your brush onto these pad as possible. If you can get yourself something like this, it's great to be able to... You thin your paint, then you work it all into the bristles, get them marked off, and you go... It will catch all of the highlighted areas, just automatically highlighting. If you want to paint it white as your main colour, then you don't want to get too much paint off, actually. Because you want to paint like the raised, all of the surfaces and stuff as white as possible, so it's only a shadow. Yeah, recesses that are still shadowed in grey sear. And then you can just take something like Apothecary White, watered down, or some other wash, and just go over it. Mostly just working onto the recesses. And then for the pink, you just go onto wherever you want the pink with a smaller brush. In fact, we kind of want to dry brush now, don't we? Because they're not painted. They've only got a base colour on. So that's a good shout. Let's get some Wraithbone on them. And let's get some actual painting done. Now, where are my cool brushes for dry brushing? Synthetic Pro, are they in here? No. Where do I keep them? I think I keep them on my desk somewhere. They get pushed around a lot, don't they? It's not under that thing. Are they over there? No. Are they in here? No. This thing? Nope. Under there. Well, that's where the blue stuff is. My desk is very organised, don't worry about it. What's a hi, Bob? There they are. Dry brushing brushes. Oh, the brush I actually want is not amongst them. I want the smallest one. Where did you put it? Oh, it's over here. Yeah, I guess I was washing it. There we go, that's nice. Okay, so let's get the dry brush. This is already rather watered down, thinned down with a, what do they call it? A contrast medium. Yeah, I got this from Green Stuff World. Well, actually I bought it from a shop. It's made by Green Stuff World is very useful at times. But we'll take a tiny dab of water on this thing. Wet the brush. Then we get some of this on. Work it into the bristles. Okay, that should be good enough. It'll be a bit streaky and a bit laid on, but that's good. We want a nice. There we go. Yeah.
Cupcake!
Oh my
Yay!
gosh!
Thank you becoming a cupcake apprentice,
mate.
SCP-40K.
Hello, SCP-40K. Welcome to Cupcake Apprentice. Remember, thank you very much. Big love hearts to you. Hope you use your new cupcake magic responsibly. Yeek. I like blended. Sounds like a good idea. As far as us thinking of using pink, I was going to do some details of it and hopefully do some designs for the armor with it, but that would be probably difficult. Don't shy away from stuff that's difficult. You don't get better unless you do for difficult stuff as well. That's one of the reasons why I keep putting, despite liking my Space Marines to usually have helmets, I keep making ones that don't have helmets just so fast to paint the faces. Because I know I won't do details otherwise. Oh gosh, I like blended hues of it. Ooh, I've never really tried blended hues too much, except on these like shoulder pads and stuff. It's cool that I'm painting Wraith Bone directly onto the bony areas of this thing. Okay, just let's get into here. So we're based. It's got so I want to paint my arcs mostly using contrast paints. I'm still getting the hang of them. So and contrast paints are great for when you like dry brush and stuff first. I actually go far. I don't have it with me actually. I should have kept it as a reference. I've painted one mech boy as a reference and like as a test design, which I really like. What I'm gonna be using is Hex Wraith. What colour is it? Hex Wraiths. Hex Wraith green, that's it. For the main skin tone. I have to be a bit careful because these are 3D printed resins, so they're very fragile. I don't want to go too heavy with the dry brushing on them. Yeah, and Talasar blue for the blues, because I want the blue to feel different from, you know, the blue that I use with these guys. I am painting some silly little art. Oh, grass today, not art. The new grots look really cool. I like how they look. I'm thinking not next week, but the week after, because next week is Mechanicus week. I'm gonna do an Arcy week. I've got a bunch of Arc stuff. I've got some Arc boys sprayed up. And I've got some Death Dreads sprayed up too, and Achillicans. So I'm thinking the week after next we'll do Armageddon week, where we're going to paint our... Okay, definitely be careful of these fingers, since one of them's already broken and one of them I had to make myself. So... I think that'll be fun. I am not looking forward to painting the Death Dreads though. I don't often paint vehicles. I think the only vehicle we've actually painted was 2 vehicles. One of them is a Space Marine Dreadnought, and the other is that giant battle wagon that took forever to paint. But it wasn't too bad because we used a base colour of, you know, a beige coat on it. I'm hoping these guys won't take too long to paint. I'm hoping I can finish them today. With them not even 2 of them not having eyes. One's got sunglasses. One of them eyes is hidden by the hood. I'm hoping it should be relatively easy. I think the squig has pretty big eyes. This guy, his eyes might be a bit difficult, for I can barely even see them inside there. I had to paint from a very dark colour as a result. If you're thinking that the little band going around this grot looks a bit weird, it's because I just made it myself out of green stuff because I thought it looked weird in basically this skin tight onesie suit. So I decided to add a little leather bandolier to him. Okay, yeah, that helps. This is good. Nice. Where we can just wash this brush. And I think we'll start with this dude, because he should be the simplest to do. And I think I want to start doing blue first. I think that's got to be the main colour today. I'm actually going to have to use my vehicle as a reference since I don't have to do an arc is in the outfit. Also, I've got to open the windows more because it's getting warm in here. Oh, I did green eyes. I was going to go for yellow eyes on the squig, but I realised on this squig here, I went for green eyes. I'm thinking I want to try doing some freehand on the squig. What I want to do is I want to paint like blue face paint all over him, which would be cool. Okay, gotta go. Bye-bye. It was nice of you to pop in and thank you for becoming an apprentice. Yeah. Enjoy what you're going to be doing. Have a fun wow yourself. Yeah, because we're gonna have fun. Okay, we need brushes though. What are we gonna do? I think with this, it's probably going to be best to use the layer brush. Yeah. He's got lots of tears in his clothing as well. So let's get Colosaur Blue going. One of the reasons I have to do the blue first is because the green is under the blue. In these little things I feel like I'm going to go over when I'm painting the blue. I think it's easier to go over. Yeah. Okay. Where's my Talosaur Blue? Talosaur Blue, let's not spill it everywhere. Because if you don't know, I had a horrible incident where I just knocked over my entire Talosaur Blue, which is why some of my paints are, you know, blue coloured. So I'll just go over nice and gently. I'm already making mistakes, but it's fine. Fix them in post. I think this guy, I want to make his guitar black and white. We're going for blue because for deaf schools. Deaf schools are the not the sneakiest. They're the lootiest. They're the lootiest orcs around. No one trusts a deaf school because, you know, their main goal is just to steal whatever you have. And for people who trust their deaf schools the least, or for deaf schools, because they know just how steely they are, because, you know, they're deaf schools too. Yeah. If you're thinking, blue on yellow seems a bit weird. Or do you like this light brown colour? It's like, that's purposeful. Because I feel like orc blue is not going to be very neat. I feel like it's going to be, you know, patchy and murky. Yeah. That's what you get. It gives like some undertones so when blue is thinner. Also, Talisol blue is super strong. Whatever you paint it on, it's gonna still be blue in the end. And what your base colour is. There we go. Oh, does anyone have a preferred orc tribe? Whether in fantasy, 40k, or Age of Sigmar? Like, obviously my favourite one is the Death Schools. Maybe it's because they are blue, but I think it's mostly for Lucas. I haven't realised that it's like my neck ones were going to be blue. My Black Templars have a lot of blue. My Mechanicus are going to... Now, the Mechanicus are going to be blue in part because I want the theme from with my Black Templars. And so are my Guardsmen, but then I realised I'm going to have so much blue armies. I don't want my neck ones being blue, so I'm going to make them orange now. Well, I say orange. They're going to be like bronze and metal colours, but their power things, like, you know, where normally they would be green, that's going to be like fiery orange instead. Oh yeah, and my knights are going to be blue. Don't know what I'm going to do for my Eldar colour. At least my Tyranids aren't blue. They're yellow and pink. Well, purple, actually. There we go. Goths. Black Templars. No, my Black Templars, which technically aren't even Black Templars anymore. They're kind of blue, like all of their weapons are blue. And, you know, their capes and cloaks are blue. Mine are. Normally they'd be red, but I don't like the red colour, and I wanted mine to feel different. But you're like Goth. Goths are my least favourite, and I think it's partly because of the poster boys, but also because they don't really have a cool thing going on with them. They just want to fight. Which is fine. I mean, they do have a goth rockers, I guess. But, like, the speed freaks are fun because, you know, the orcs like to go fast. You've then got the... What's the next breed of art with them. The bad moons who like all the shiniest stuff. Blood Axis. My second favourite is the snake bite. And for feral, or more accurately for feral art, you know, if actually don't have pet for one reason or another. Basically just old world art in 40k. Sometimes Cupcon's Black Templars are light yellow. She claims that's Imperial Fist part shared for being friends, but you all know they're infected by cupcake virus. No. There's no such thing as a cupcake virus. Now come here and let me just inject you with this stuff. I mean, I can see why people like the goth. But if they like the Ultramarines or for art. But that being said, I kind of like the Ultramarines now. Didn't used to. Hi, French Buff! Buff word of the day, swoosh. Did you get your account back, or is this a new account? If it is a new account and your previous account got deleted, do not upload the same content. That's a warning because it's called ban evasion of a
Misery word of the day, green screen. Someone ate at French Puff.
Someone hit French Puff with the green screen, it's true. Oh, PFP background is now green screen, yay! Someone ate French Puff. Oh yeah. Otherwise the YouTube algorithm might just hit this account as well. This is a pic I use of all my CapCut videos so I can move them around and put them on mountains. Yeah. I wish you luck, French Buff. And hi, Tony, how you doing? There we go. Let's get some nice views. Yeah, I might not finish these today. I'm taking forever to paint. Yeah. Look at all the blue. It's nice. I like it. I like to do for highlights and, you know, for extra bits, or more accurately for wear and tear, using cowgirl blue on these guys. I'm not being super accurate with this brush. I also just realised I've just painted over one of the parts that are meant to be green, because he's got a lot of holes in his little outfit. There you go. There you go. Yeah, go. I need my nose. My nose is a mess. Hay fever. Yeah. Oh, I meant to get a toothpick so I could put some white tack or blue tack on the end of it and like stick it to the foot or whatever so I could paint it. Easier, but whatever. I forgot about it. Oh gosh. Messed that bit up, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. Should be able to paint the green or blue. There's a lot more tears than I realised in here. Some of them might be quite difficult. There we go. We got some nice blue done. Beautiful. I'm gonna go over some of these areas with more layers. Don't care too much about it being super neat because I mean it's an art, or it's a grot. It's not going to be neat, nor should it be. I think there's a bit of a hood I need to do too. Along the head, gosh, just rolling around in my hand. But yeah. Wonderful. Yep. Oh gosh, there is my magnifying glass is on screen. I didn't even realise. That's not good. Push it back. That's good. Wait, what's my face going on screen then? That's not good. I have to go back now. My hair's going on screen. I wasn't even paying attention. Oh no. Why did no one tell me? You big old meanies. I'm too busy focused on my painting to notice me doing weird stuff. Yeah.
Hair on Streamhouse Gandalas.
Yeah. At least it wasn't my face, but I mean, it's a reflective surface on this thing. I mean, I think it's mostly just reflecting what's over there. Because of the way it's angled, but still. Like, the entire lens was there. You know VTubers don't want to show the face and stuff. Okay, yeah, that's good enough for now. Again, we're just doing kind of basic colours. Okay, so I want these things being painted blue. I want the pants painted blue. You might as well. And the hat, except a little fluffy bit around the edge. Yeah, lots are very deadly. Mad Dog Grotnik. He's not a Grot. Grotsnik just means he, you know, unalives Grot and regular. Hi, Finns Falcador. I've been listening to Mad Dog Grotsnik, right? Which is a book, relatively recent book. And it's got a Gaskell factor in it, right? And while it makes him sound super, super cool and powerful and stuff, it does make me realise that it's not quite Primarch level. Like, I feel like he should be, but he's not. Because it did, like, show him be injured and struggling against a thing that is like, yeah, Primarch should easily deal with that thing. I'm not going to tell you what, because it's a spoiler. Like, actually, I think him being in the book is a slight spoiler. There was something going across my vision then. I couldn't tell what it was. Hi, TA, how you doing? We're painting Grot. Finally getting round to it. Oh yeah, what do you think is going to be released next week? Like, you know, if they're going to say, hey, this is what's coming out next week, be prepared. And I'm not sure what it's going to be. PA, do you have a favourite green skin clan? A goth. Just Speed Boys, the Evil Sons, Bad Moons, Death Schools, Blood Axis, Snake Bites. We don't really see much of a Snake Bites, do we? I loot tier start. I like the goths. Another goth lover! Oh. Is this what they mean by when everyone says they want a goth BF? They want a goth green friend. I like Bad Moons too because they evolve attack us so rich. Yeet. What's the appeal of a goth? I've never found them significantly appealing. Like, what appeal? Like, Paytrax likes the goth. What appeals you to them? Is it just that for like the fightier starts? They love to scrap, they love to fight. They view themselves as an orkier starts. Or is it just the colour scheme, black and white? Which I mean is kind of cool. I mean, they got the Black Templar there, colour scheme, black and white predominantly. And he got Gaskell Fracker as a goth as well. Unfortunately, it turns out Grotsnick, the worst Stark ever, is a Death Skull. I'm like, what? No! Why is he a Death Skull? I don't want him to be a Death Skull. Bad Moons get the flash kit. Bad Moons and Death Skulls are very alike in many ways. Like, they are both accused of being moderately anarchy, both over Death Skulls much more so. And often, like, the Bad Moons, when it comes to, like, getting for cool tech and stuff, the ones they're often buying it from are the Death Skulls, because, you know, they steal the best tech. And also, the Death Schools have a lot of the best mech. And Pain Boys and stuff like that. Because, you know, they steal tech and various things and then use it. You need, like, some Pain Boys going on there. Oh, it's like piercings. Okay. I don't know what's going on with this model then. Like a little piercing on his elbow with a tooth coming out of it. That's dangerous, I forgot. Tooth is currency. That's like having £100 on your belt when you're just a kid in the middle of a bad neighbourhood. There we go. Okay, how do I want to paint this guy? I think I want his big old jacket to be blue. And then he has, I think, a shirt. No, that's it. Definitely not a shirt. That's his skin. So his pants can be, I guess, black. It's like something stuck between its fingers there. Yeah, make his pants black. I think I want his this squig thing to be squig red. For back to be yellow. No, green. Oh, yellow. Wire can be. I don't know what colour the wire should be. If that's red, the wire should be green, but the skin's green. Could do a yellow wire as well. Could do a black wire. Yeah, black wire going round for this thing. Black for that, black wire. And his trousers could be. I feel like black should be the colour of his trousers. Yeah, the cuff should be bony colour, beige. That bit should be black as well. Be metal. I'm not sure what colour I want his trousers to be. Could go for white, I guess. That would be weird. I mean, I could go for blue trousers with a blue jacket, you know, matching. Yeah, because the inside of the coat should be bone-coloured beige. The outside this vibrant blue. Yeah, that's what we'll go for. That sounds fun. Notifications. Do. Ow, gosh, my elbow. I need to get like an elbow vest on my blooming desk. Oh, my elbow. That feels like a bone's trying to poke through the skin, and I got very thin skin. I wouldn't be surprised. There we go, that's nicer. I need to get like a cushion for my desk. Yes. There we go. Just rest my elbow. Then when I'm lifting my arm like this, the elbow just goes straight onto the desk and it's like, ow! But I need to rest my elbow so that I can paint easier. Oh darn it, I just put paint everywhere else too. Whatever. Fine. Might need a couple of to really get things going. I want his coat, like he's the lead, it feels like. So his coat should be the most vibrant and nicest looking. powder blues. By the way, we've got for like app or whatever. I think Mad.Grotsnick is still at 60% off, along with like Fall of Cadia and stuff, for both the audio book and the normal book. 66% off, I think it was. And that's until some point next month. Yeah, I'm not the neatest when it comes to painting, but I'm neat enough. Especially when it comes to these basic things. Thankfully, Grots are only small, so I don't exactly have a lot to paint on each model. But the issue is coming from just how much detail is on them. Like all the folds and the cloth and stuff. Get in the way of trying to actually paint the model. And how tiny these details are. Just tiny things. At least they got big pens and big pens, which makes things easier. Be patient. Be mighty. This guy's got a little big old belly. Got a big old belly under there. Okay, let's change brush out for this thing now. Actually, no, I want to do... I've got to clean the brush anyway. I want to try doing a tiny bit and see if it can anyway. Like, you know, like triangle. Main thing is when freehand, you don't want to press too heavily on it. Hello, Sir Honey Rose. How you doing, Sir Draco Honey Rose? We're painting a squig. We're doing lots of bluey colours because they are death schools. Death schools are blue. They're best orc tribe. Better than them goths. Now goths are cool. And they're my least favourite. But they're cool. It's clan, not tribe, isn't it, anyway? Tribe's the wrong word. Hi, Punish Scarab. The San Jose. You're great. I have a question. Do you know the way to San Jose? I know the way. You know the way. Because I've seen Sonic, and Knuckles always knows the way. Especially when he's voiced by Idris Elba, who also did, what's his name? What is his name? I don't know. The guy who did the Doom 4, the guy who stood up for Rainbow Road, and he had the eyes that could see everything. Helmney or something, I forgot his name. Ugandan Knuckles, that's pre-2019. I don't know when it is. I know it's a relatively new meme that came out like yesterday when I heard of it. Knuckles, and unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. If I'm besieged to chuckle. You know the way. The way to San Jose. Oh no. Look, memes never die. And sometimes you see an old meme for the first time. It's like all those people that, you know, the entire idea of, you know, oh, being cooked, it's new, it's fresh. No, it's ancient. The idea of being cooked, being a bad thing, is, you know, ancient. It's older than time itself. And the idea of, oh, we're cooking up now. We're cooking up the goods. Yeah, that's also ancient. Okay, chat, here's a meme for you. And the fact is, what the swank is a meme? I have no idea. Memes have a DNA of our soul. If I have a DNA, or is it memes? Or memes? I don't know. I call them memes. I like memes. The DNA of a soul is vibes. No, it's a squiggly bit. It's a squiggly bit. That's what orcs call DNA, by the way. Squiggly bits in the blood. Are these metal spikes? Oh no, they look like the spikes, but yeah, it's metal. Huh, interesting. Okay, I'll have to paint some metal then. Or, you know, could paint some blue. I'm painting blue on the face. Oh. I reckon neaten it all up when I'm doing the actual skin tone on it. Look, it's got face paint on. Oh, okay, I might need to go deep on this side. It's a mimetic effect. What's mimetic? The DNA of a soul is plastic. Must consume combat through. Denizen of Mystery knows the truth. we need more. Although, has anyone gotten for new boyfriends? I say new. Do you know if they made to order? I tried ordering some. I just couldn't get to work until I logged out my account and just signed in as a guest. And suddenly it worked. And in the end I got some. It's so expensive. Oh, but they look so cool and I've always wanted them. It's a chance to make my childhood a reality.
Blep.
Give me cute mermaid waifus. Blep! Blep, blep, blep. Denizen of Mystery is so old. My goodness. The oldest one of us all. I can't believe it, like Uma must have made that was like so last decade or something out now. It's ages ago. Do you throw my memories? Give me more skeletons! I do like the Death Rattler skeletons. I've been so tempted to buy that Combat Patrol every time I've seen it. I'm like, what will I even do with it? I don't want to start a Vampire Counts army. I don't want to start an Age of Sigmar army. But I want those skeletons. Cultists. For chaos. Give them last guns. There we go. Okay, then what else do I want on it? Be careful. Okay. Okay, this I think I want to paint blue. That I want to paint blue. Who here would go on a date with nobody? Nurgle's the worst. I never understood for horses, but I've seen for like, no! Don't go to the gamba game! Don't be taken in by the gamba. I mean, one of the reasons why I go for a thick dry brush of Wraithbone anyway on top of these guys is so that it's easier just to paint for contrast on them. Makes a nice light colour that the contrast can go over. But also, it creates like extra details, so all of the raised areas are lighter, and the contrast will be lighter on those raised details, and darker where, you know, the sandy dust is coming through, which will be the recess.
Yuma Museum might be a gambling game, but it actually helps the Japanese economy a lot.
Isn't that like what most casinos and gambling suggest? It's like, should we ban cigarettes? No, think about the economy. Should we ban gambling? No, think about the economy. Should we ban alcohol? No, think about my tummy. That's what people say about that one. And think about the economy. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to ban people. I don't want to have to worry about an economy. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. I think banning people from your country, just all humans, including those born there, is just great for your country. Like, all problems stem from pretty much humans, most of them. Ban monkeys as well. Monkeys suck. It has also helped humans better themselves, yes, by turning off the game and not gambling. Is that water? That is water. Did I pour myself a second cola? I don't know if I did. Banana. Yo, don't banana me. Wait, Uma Musume itself raises money for animal shelters. I know the fans have. Warhammer's not gambling. Warhammer is just winning. I mean, they do have a Gamba game, I guess, with that Tacitus or whatever it's called.
What about monk eyes?
Monk eyes. Monk eyes. Aren't they humans? In which case they're banned, because people are banned. Look, I'm banning people from Cuptopia. Only cupcakes are allowed. No Eldari, no elves, no dwarves, no humans, no Tau, no crew, just cupcakes. And kitty cats. What about skeletons? We'll allow skeletons, but not any flesh attached to them. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. Yippee! Well, I still like anime and Dungeons and Dragons and speculative biology, evolutions and kaiju, and no one can change it. Well, why would anyone want to change it? You can like what you want to like. You can like what you want to like. You can like anything. You can like going to the thing. Like what you want to like. Like anything. Like what you need to like. There you go. I like what I like, and what I like is cola. Gimme, 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 gimme all of your cola. I want it in my tummy. Gimme, 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 gimme all of your cola. I'm gonna drink it all in from you. I'm gonna drink it cola, gonna drink it well, gonna drink it all with you. Gonna drink all the cola. Nothing can stop me. Drink Coca-Cola. I don't wanna drink it with no one.
Krogan versus orcs, who would win?
I don't know what Krogans are. So orcs? Is it those Mass Effect dudes? The silly looking guys? Because I'd say orcs. The Mass Effect ones are silly. How big is an orc? How big is a stick? I mean, technically, squigs are orcoids. These guys are orcoids. And then you got orcs like this big. Like, compared to, like, a marine. Like, the new war bosses and stuff. And then you get the orcs in Death Dread that are massive. And then you got my orc battle wagon. Or battle fortress. It's just huge. Orcs also have an incredibly crazy anatomy. Like you'd say. But if they say Krogan v orcs, I'm guessing like that's if the entire races fought one another. And considering that there's countless trillions of orcs, and you know, they've all got incredibly strange DNA and stuff where, you know, you can blast holes in them and it's just fine. And you can rip the head off and they're still alive. Orcs are pretty strong. They used to have lore where they're not that big compared to they're not that strong for their size. But that lore's kind of changed now. Like orcs Like, if you go by the game, orcs are toughness 5, so as tough as a Terminator. They don't wear much armor, mind you. They're strength 4, so for us, no, for strength
Do you think
5,
squigs are a
they?
fashion statement with orcs?
They are a fashion statement with us. Sometimes they're a fashion statement, especially hair squig, which is effectively a squig parasite that lives on your head and creates a mane of hair for you. Did you just say Krogan are silly? Did you see what their history is? Krogan have like 8 pairs of redundant biology, no true vital organs, and they adapt on the fly. I don't think orcs even have proper vital organs, to be honest. And the tallest battlesets are like 9 feet, so they are taller than space means. They just don't have the durability to match. Orcs are incredibly durable. Like... incredibly durable. You can blast holes in them and they just keep coming. You can cut the head off and the head might still live. And the biggest, toughest orcs are even more durable. They also have a psychic ability to create, like, you know, what they think becomes reality almost. Not quite exactly, but it's not far off. They're reality benders. All orcs are also born from spores, and when they're born, they're basically born fully mature. And then after they basically get up, they never stop growing. They're born with innate knowledge, like they're born knowing how to talk, knowing how to bash guns together and make bigger, better guns, knowing how to make motor engines and stuff. That's how they're born. They can basically take any amount of scrap and just turn it into something useful. I don't know what king crabs are meant to be in this context. Like, I'm not clear on how orcs power progression works. Besides, if I win, I get bigger. Well, it's not necessarily. They basically just keep getting bigger through their life. And then they get even bigger, like when they become a boss. And other orcs, you know, start having faith in them being the boss. And the more they fight, the bigger they get, the stronger they get. But I think an orc war boss could easily body like a generic Krogan. Every Tau kills 3 orcs per day in melee, and that is actually false because an actual Tau kills 0 orcs per day. Commander Farsight just kills 10,000 every day and is skewing the data. And kind of. I don't know much about Battletech, so I can't comment. When it comes to Tau, how Tau are, it's dependent on how a writer feels. In the game and lore, they're generally considered a lot slower witted, and like their reactions are a lot slower than a human reaction. Their movements are a lot slower than what you'd expect from a human. Like, a human is to a Tau what an Eldar is to a human in many regards. Faster. Well, humans are basically an ancient race. Tau are young. Humans have esoteric technology that no one really understands anymore. Just like the Eldar does. Humans are much longer lived than Tau. Humans are much tougher than Tau. They're much stronger than Tau. They're much faster than Tau. They got much better eyesight than Tau. Like, half of, like, the Tau advanced technology and stuff that you'd think would make them super accurate basically just puts them on par with a human. Like, that's why Tau hit on a 4+ without guided. Because, you know, despite all of that advanced tech, they're not really that much better than just a guardsman eyeballing it. With just down iron sights. Of a very basic, simple scope. Tau used to be terrifying in melee, though. Tau used to be initiative 2. So they were slightly faster than someone with a power fist. And a power fist basically meant you always struck last. But that actually put them at the same initiative as orcs. So that meant they attacked at the same time. Humans were initiative 3. Eldar were, I think, initiative 4, and so were Space Marines. Tau are cows. Tau are cows. They're goats. They're goats. Now, Krogan can have psychic powers. Well, all orcs have psychic powers. I wouldn't take gameplay rules as fact for saying Xeno Phase Swords are stronger than Deathwatch, but weaker than Necrons for actual owner. That actually kind of makes sense. In old lore, Necrons were basically on par with a Space Marine in both lore and gameplay. Like, I think Necron Warriors had 3+ armor save, toughness 4, 4+, strength 4, 1 attack. Space Marines had 1 attack. They were also ballistic skill 4 and weapon skill 4. Basically, they had the exact same stats as a Space Marine, but for initiative 2, so they attacked at the same time as Tau and Necrons. And that's where the Necrons were kind of weak. They were very, very slow. They moved very, very slow. Now Necrons are a lot weaker than Space Marines. So, like, Necrons are still at 1 wound. They've been reduced to a 4+ armor save. They're not as good in melee anymore, while Space Marines have improved in melee. So Space Marines are much, much more powerful than the average Necron. Even, like, the super skilled Necrons and super powerful Necrons are generally, like, it takes a Necron destroyer with super advanced technology to really reliably beat a Space Marine intercessor in lore. Meanwhile, the Wild Guard can defeat Space Marine intercessors, but they're not going to have an easy time. And when it comes to things like Blade Guard, yeah, Blade Guard just absolutely dominate over. Unless they're like the bodyguard of a Silent King, or do you know, something on par with that, then generally, yes. A Space Marine with a power weapon is generally better than, like, the best Necron warriors outside of the Necron Lords. So, yeah. So, yeah, I guess technically it would be. Also, the Necron Xeno phase blades are combined with human technology to try and improve them, which is a recurring thing in lore, that the mixing of Necron technology and human equipment actually, you know, sometimes does really well. I assume Stormlight Knights are Psychers and Mages, maybe. I'd say the average Krogan could probably go to toe for average boss once you get to named characters involved again. I'd say, I don't know much about Krogan, so what I know, I think they could probably beat a normal orc in melee, but when it comes to things like knobs, that's when it gets more even. When it comes to things like big bosses, so basically just bigger, stronger knobs, they'll be, like, probably on the back foot. And when it came to war bosses, they'll probably just get torn to pieces. Like, Space Marines get torn to pieces by orc war bosses. Every so often in lore, you see a Space Marine suddenly just being way better than even an orc war boss, but usually not. Usually an orc war boss could handle your average Space Marine pretty easily. And, you know, power armored people. And a Space Marine is, you know, giant warrior with multiple redundant organs. You can stab them in the heart if they got a second heart. If you can stab them in the lung if they got, you know, it will still work just as efficiently as before. X to Doubt and PM can make anything Necron have better. as far as the Imperium is concerned, they make it better. You can argue that Necron technology as it is today is actually way worse than what it used to be. And arguably that's very much true. And it's definitely not very good in Necron hands. Because you have to remember, all of Necron equipment pretty much was designed originally for living organisms to be wielding. And, you know, for them to be wielding when they were fully sentient and sapient and stuff. When every single Necron had the capability of fully unleashing any technology they have. Now they're just kind of mindless automatons for the most part. I mean, they're technically not, but, you know, they're effectively that. And they're not very accurate, they're not very skilled. They're not using the technology to their best degree that they can. And the technology that they have is ancient and decaying. But then you get to people like the Silent King and Tryson the Infinite, and you can see the difference between them. Like, even in the same book, that, like, you can have a random Necron Dynasty death marks, and then in the same book, if Tryson of the Silent King appeared, suddenly their death marks are just doing 20 times better than what this random Dynasty's death marks were. Because their death marks are actually armed with, you know, well-maintained equipment that their cryptex and technologists know how to, you know, properly maintain. And Tryson, especially since he's basically been awake since for a very long time. No, Stormlight Knights are basically humans that have a contract with a Spriggan. Cupcon saying, oh, that power levels, like all of them aren't Uma Musume victims. Oh no, I mean, we don't mention power level for word. Oh no. Have you painted your Knight Destry on stream? No, I've not painted it. I've not painted a single Knight on stream. The biggest vehicle I've painted, so, well, I've only painted 2 vehicles on stream. A Dreadnought, ages and ages ago, one of my first models I painted. As a VTuber, and then my big Orc Battle Wagon. As Khan decreed. Okay, what do I want to paint blue here? I think bony colour, bone colour, copper colour, metal colours. I think I'll just paint this entire edge of the drum and this part blue. Yeah. I can still be bone coloured. Page. I'll paint this thing blue too. Yeah, that sounds good. But when it comes to like power levels and lore and stuff with, you know, like all of these things, it's that Warhammer power levels are not consistent. And how effective something is. Generally, the way I feel it at the moment is like how they are on the battlefield, like, you know, with how they play, is probably pretty accurate to their rough power level now. Like, how many the amount of last guns it takes to take out a Space Marine is pretty high. Like, it's like a full squad of 20 rapid firing. But you got 2 wounds. Wounds are 3+ armor saves, that means 6 need to get through. Wounds of 5, that means 18, which means you need 36 attacks from last guns. Which makes sense. A full squad of last guns rapid firing into a Space Marine should be able to take out, especially if it's like they put it on max power and stuff. Or if they have Lucia's last guns. Who here would don't work with a Skaven, that would be bad. Power levels mean nothing yet. Like, how many times has a 40k used Bloodthirst as a plot point to show how strong someone else is? And for Avatar of Cain, And the Swarm Lord. Well, I mean, the thing is, one of the big things I've always had an issue with power levels for is I can throw a brick hard enough to cave in a fully grown man's skull pretty easily. Like, if I just throw a brick straight at his head, it's probably going to
Corn
cave in and
versus
kill him.
Tiamat, who wins?
Corn versus Tiamat. I don't know. Hey, they can ask me all these things. Who's Tiamat? Corn isn't really a living being. It's more of a idea. More of a guideline. But, oh yeah, it's like I can throw in like a brick easily enough to cave in someone's head. Well, that does not mean my head could withstand that same brick being thrown at me. Heck, a child could probably throw a brick at my head, and there's a good chance it will cause significant damage to me, if not, you know, outright donk me. So, you know, well, that's like most people, like every single human. And it's like the world's strongest man could be taken out by the world's weakest person pretty easily. Well, maybe not the world's weakest person. The world's weakest person might not be able to lift up anything hard enough. But you get the idea. It's like, so power levels don't really matter too much. Like, especially 40k, like half the time you see something being killed by a space marine or whatever. But if you actually read the story, it makes sense because, you know, if they don't just straight up duel it, they generally outsmart and trick it. Which, or they have aid, or they injure it, or whatever. It's Corn is a bum. Who I assume D&D whipped him like a puppet. I have no idea. Tiamat of a 5-headed chromatic dragon goddess? I don't know. I mean, the gods, it probably doesn't matter at that point. I mean, 40k gods is not really a question of who can beat up who, even if Tom would like it to be like that. If it was, then Gork and Mork would have crushed all the other gods ages ago. Or the Emperor. I think that's one of the fun things about power level, or one of the annoying things about power levels is like strength does not equal durability. Like, that's also a big thing about everything in 40k. Is as much as we like to go on about the durability of orcs, is it can still be felled by enough last gun shots. Everything can be felled by enough last gun shots. That's half a point of Warhammer. It's like your Bloodthirster, super cool, super powerful. Yeah, but I'm just gonna shoot 600 last gun shots into it, and it's gonna die because, you know, it's still got this fleshy body, even though it's a demon, and the fleshy body can still be cooked by enough laser fire. Chaos gods aren't even technically real gods. Yeah. What even is a great game? It's exactly that, it's a game. Like, if a game, basically, if a game is whoever can control the galaxy and have the most power, that's basically what the game is. They each want to control as many mortals as possible. And have the most mortals possible. And in theory, if they become powerful enough, they can effectively just take over the warp itself. Effectively not defeating the other gods in like a brutal fight, but subsuming them. And it might appear to mortals as a fight or whatever, if they could gaze into the warp, but the warp is very weird. And what the great game is also has changed many times and more. It used to be more about the idea of like the gods do fight one another. And you still got the idea of like Dark and Mark are just constantly fighting one another in the warp. But again, that fight is more of it's evocative of the art faith rather than evocative of them themselves. The one god you do hear about, like the god fighting and doing stuff, is Khan, but again, he's a god of war. That's more of a mortal view and idea of him. You see Sinch doing magical trickery things, and again, that's the mortal view of them. What does that mean? Slaanesh has already won. Slaanesh did win for a little while, but then the other gods kind of put Slaanesh in for place. Effectively combining their warp power to prevent Slaanesh having enough power. To basically the power of all three other gods and the control that they had was greater than Slaanesh as a single being, and as a result, Slaanesh couldn't take them over while the three were allied together. And as the three were allied together, they pushed back Slaanesh's power both in the mortal realm and in the warp. Sorry, I have like a tissue. Where's my tissue gone? Oh, here it is. We worship malice in this house. I don't know, there's arguably infinite number, but a lot of the weaker chaos deities get, well, we say chaos. You got different warp gods. That's the best thing to call them, warp gods. And there's basically any number of them. But a lot of them will get subsumed to or become subservient to one of the main gods. So those main gods at the moment are Gork and Mark, Khorne, Nurgle, Sinch, Slaanesh, and the Emperor. You've also got the Eldari gods, but that's a bit weird. That's an entire different kind of worms. Also for Hive Mind, technically. We've also got the Greater Good appearing in the warp now as a warp entity. But how powerful that is probably quite questionable. And even if it is an actual thing, it could be Sinch for all we know, doing more Sinchian trickery. Sinch almost won the Great Game, by the way, but purposely gave it up because, you know, Sinch's entire thing is he wants to play in the Great Game. If he wins, he kind of just stops existing. Because that's just the way Sinch is. Sinch exists for change, and there cannot be change if he wins the game. Or it wins the game. I don't think Sinch actually has a gender. I think it's both Slaanesh and Sinch that don't have a fixed gender. Besides the one. The Elder God ones are just chilling of their own. Arguably, the God of Death is kind of. The Laughing God is kind of. And then you got Isha, who's with Nurgle, and then Cain, who got split up. And then you have the other ones like Fall, who also don't exist anymore. Cain it's still, there's a really hard line from Hammer and Bolter, one of the Warhammer Plus shows, about Cain, basically, the avatars of Cain being the dying, the anger of a dead god. The anger and rage that remains of a long dead god. And it just goes so hard, especially just seeing the avatar of Cain just rip and tear things. Bye-bye! Warhammer is super, super weird. The lore is constantly changing. So, I don't think there's any reason. But yeah. Everything in Warhammer is basically meant to be killable by a lasgun. So it makes sense when anything else kills anything else, because, you know, a Space Marine can fall down to enough lasgun fire. A Bloodthirster can. A Titan can if you really do it well enough. The true gods of the Catan. They're not gods themselves. They're basically... So the Catan are what would be referred to as real space gods, while those in the Warp are referred to as Warp gods. Neither are truly gods. The Warp gods are basically... So in the Warp, you've got souls, you've got living creatures for the demons and stuff. And the souls of all their faith and all their worries and all their thoughts create other living organisms within the Warp that can then exert their power upon other souls and stuff. So they're just born from thought. The Catan, on the other hand, are basically just ancient living organisms that fed on stars and stuff, and on living creatures and all sorts, depending on what the Catan was. So they're ancient, they've been around a long time. But they're no more gods than the old ones are gods. It's like they're not the creators of the universe. They can't just destroy the universe. But like the idea of what a proper god would be in 40k would be, you know, something that has not just control, but where effectively the entire universe just exists in the palm of their hand. The writers of the gods. That's effectively who the gods in 40k are. You've also got the argument that everyone is a god. Because, you know, it's humans, it's orcs, it's people that bring life to the Warp god. It's the Catan who... It's the Necrons who shackled the Catan and broke them. There's definitely an argument to make that the true gods are just people. And everything else is just a pretender. Like, if you killed the Catan that represented fire, it would also erase the concept of fire. Was it just fluff when you said you actually killed Catan, you would destroy something fundamental to existence? I don't know. Maybe? I don't think so, because I don't think there's a Catan for every single thing that exists. Like, you got the Nightbringer, who is basically the Catan of death. That's why he has a scythe and stuff. Because, but with a Nightbringer shackled, broken, and whatever, it didn't erase death. It didn't stop people dying. I don't think that's true. But I do think that they, like, do possess, like, some level of control over these concepts. Well, being bound is, it's not just bound, it's shattered. It's shattered into a million tiny bits. The Nightbringer is effectively dead. The only way to bring it back would be is if he can get every single shard and put them back together again. Or at least the vast majority of the shards, which is what one of the Necrons is trying to do. To bring back the Nightbringer. And if they did that spells the end of life in the universe. Potentially. So, I don't think there's any hard law. You can't trust what the Necrons say. You can't trust what anyone says in law about these things. And maybe they are gods. Maybe they're just... Maybe they're not. But if they were gods, I wouldn't... That brings into question is how the heck did the Necrons, you know, do what they did to them? How the heck did the old ones survive them? Like, like everyone knows how parts of Void Dragon are confined, assumed to be confined. I don't think it's been truly confirmed one way or another. It's just heavily hinted at. Isn't it? I think so. Oh, is it confirmed now? I know that was something about the Emperor going to Mars long ago and, you know, beating up the Catan or something. Or beating up a dragon on Mars, which is assumed to be the Void Dragon. I don't know. I need to read up more on the Catan, I guess. In Rogue Trader, towards the end of the game, you start fighting Necron. No! No spoilers for it! I still want to finish Rogue Trader, preferably on stream. Gone. Also, I don't know how canonical Rogue Trader actually is. I think it takes a lot of freedoms and liberties with how it handles the law. Exactly. I don't want the idea that, you know, this is like for art, paint to do with like books. Don't worry about it. The Elder. There we go. The blue is finally complete almost. Yeah. No. There we go. Very enjoyable though, even someone who's never dived super into 40k lore. Yeah. 40k lore is very fluid though. Like, as much as people laugh about, you know, the Imperial Guard thing where an Imperial Guardsman is pictured, you know, carrying an arc, where they're saying, despite their size, they're quite weak. It's like, that used to be a thing. Like, orcs used to only be strength 3. They were the same strength as a guardsman. And that was like something common in lore. You often saw guardsmen beating the orcs in melee. And you still see guardsmen beating orcs in melee. Heck, we're reading the Armageddon book with, you know, guardsmen taking out orcs. Close quarter combat. So... But now, yeah, now orcs are much stronger than guardsmen. One of the big arguments is that the 40k lore is fluid because we're only ever seeing like these extremely biased perspective of it, and you know, time within 40k is continuing forward, and things just change. And often with things, history changes. Especially as your perspective changes. So let's do some green next. Where's my Hexfaith green? I've got some Moot green, but I don't want that. Yeah, Hexfaith glow. No, that's Warpstone glow. Is this it? No, that's Tesseract. Here we go, Hexlife Flame. Sorry, these paints take forever to mix up. How is it? And he's good mix. Shake, 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 faster, faster. Speed of light. How's that looking? Hello, I thought the cats were out to War 3, but seems people are already releasing videos and beta playing the DLC. Oh, you can play in beta for a moment. Oh, that's cool. I never knew that. X-Wave green! Very, very bright green. You might think it's a bit weird painting orcs that colour. The colour I like though. When are they coming out? I'm not sure. I probably need some Moot green to cover up some of these blue areas. I accidentally got onto the skin. Oh, that's fine. We'll go back over and do them. Oh, wait, before we do the green, quick look, what's coming out? Erland, your favourite thing. Website, yeah, I clicked that by accident. Next week, what's coming out? The Falcon Super Heavy. I thought that already came out. Oh, and the new Spartan. Eisenhower in French. And that's it. I thought this already came out of a Falcon. It's like crazy. Falcon, big gold tank. Falcon, big gold tank. You know, actually, it's just going to be easier to filter. Only plastic. And where's the sort by price title? Oh no, they got the glaive version with a Falkite cannon. Yeah, that one. Nah, it's a Falcon coming out next. I do want to eventually get one, but I won't bother with that. Wasted too much money already. Those stupid Foistron 5 is so expensive. Where is this? There we go, that one. Oh, get that green. Get that green on your son. You need to be a nice bright green. Oh yeah. But you're not. Well, you're grot. But even grots are green. We're going for. I know that going for more yellowy green is, you know, the common thing now. But you know, we're not common. We want proper green. Proper green and mean. Grots and orcs. Bright green. The brightest of greens. Like the brightest of boys, eh? Hey, lad. What's not green? Get him. Gene stealers, gene stealers. Who want a gene stealer, gene stealer? We love the gene stealer. We love them all. We want a gene stealer in the ball. Gene stealer, gene stealer. You could have got gene stealers, orc green gene stealers, green stealers. They call them skin thieves for orcs do. In theory, you could have orc gene stealer cults. Because basically what you'll have is either you'll infect like some grots, and the grots will sneak around over orcs sleep and stuff and infect them. Like, just inject them with the gene stealery stuff.
Man, I was late.
Hi, Blair Boris. Don't worry about being late. There's no such thing as being late when you got grots on the table. But how are you doing? Yeah, orcs can smell when another orc, or even like a human, isn't right. Like, they can smell the gene stealer curse. But if you infect them before they can get you, or do anything about it, you know, it's good. Look how bright green these guys are, I love it. So if you had like grots or orcs sneaking about, or maybe just a big orc who was tough enough and strong enough that when you infected them, they got all the other orcs and if they could you know, infect the other orcs. Even if the other orcs are trying not to be infected. It would probably be best trying to infect the commandos first, and then just like infect you having the gene stealers just sneaking around for orc camp. And like the grots, and once you got enough infected, you can start being more forceful. I mean, it would be hard to, because it'd still be able to smell something was wrong and be more vigilant. But, you know, gene stealers are sneaky. Grots too. Commandos too. It'll just be much harder than infecting humans. Before even humans can tell something is wrong when it comes to Gene Stealer cults, but for sometimes too desperate. In fact, that's what the Gene Stealer cults play on. The fact that you'll be too desperate to do anything about it, or to act on your instincts alone. Oh, yeah. How you doing, Blair Boys? And how you doing, Erland? Valkyrie and Super Heavy Tank is out next week. What was the other thing with the Valkyrie? Was there something else? I forgot. You're doing good. Yay! Warhammer Schools. Apparently at Warhammer Schools there's going to be a Total War 3 announcement. Don't know what it's going to be. I imagine it's going to be the End Times DLC. The feels. There we go. Nice. And I have to hold it while the green bits dry a little. Definitely going to moot green some of these areas. I get some blue on some of those areas too. Mist stuff. Out going to the Oh, now it's looking like a proper orc. Okay, then we just need green of this dude. That was a massive accident there. Clean your desk. Move off your PC from the floor to your other desk. Oh, nice. My PC is on the floor. I have to keep it on like this metal stand thing so it just, you know, it's not in contact with the carpet. Oh, got blue on his head. Don't worry, it just looks like a spot. Pretty good. The nice thing about grots is that with them being so small, you don't have a lot to paint on each model. And then it's kind of quicker. That being said, so far all I've done is the blue on them. That's like the biggest thing to do. And I did some freehanding work as well. So there's that. And we've been talking a lot. Another blue finger mess, but I'm going to be going over with Caligor blue. It'll be fine. That's when I do some of it. Oh, he's got a bolt in his ear. I forgot about that. I'm going to want some metal. I say a bolt, he's got a nut in his ear, like, you know, it's like an earpiece. It's one of those things that tighten around a bolt. Two. His glasses are going to be black. I don't really care about what I get on them. Black easily paints over any colour. The reason I went with blue first is that for blue, like if I mess up for green and get it on for blue, it will barely cover up the blue. But if I mess up the blue and get on for green, it will just absolutely cover up the green. And since we're using contrast, it's very easy to mess up. Yeah, there's a bit more of the blue areas around there. These guys don't have very sharp nails, which is surprising. The nails should be clawed. The toenails are kind of pointy. But the hand nails are. Maybe it's because, you know, for playing the guitar, you can't really get pointy nails when you're playing the guitar. It would break them off the strings. And you might damage your guitar. Yeah. Okay. You're so snug in bed. Nice. I hope you get some good sleep today. Or tonight. I had my sleep schedule fixed at one point and I ruined it again. I don't even know how. I think it's because I was like trying to get stuff done one night and I like went way over time. There you go. Oh yeah. We're just doing the base colours though. Once the base colours are done, everything else quickly follows. I won't do like the moot green on it until I've got the rest of the colours set up correctly. Like, yeah, doing the green is taking much quicker than the blue. In part because we only have 3 dudes to put green on. The drums and the squig don't need green. The squigs are rarely green. I'm gonna start on the squig with orange. I'm a bit undecided what's not important to me, if I'm honest. Because that's where it's going to be glued with the battle wagon. There you go. That's pretty cool. How are they coming together? This is a power of dry brushing with Wraithbone first. And contrast paint. Mainly for contrast paint. We do need to go a bit thick with it though to overpower the sandy dust. I mean, if we don't go thick, all we'll do is get more yellowy art, which is, I guess, what, you know, Games Workshop does now. I like my bright green art. You know? for I guess rots, we don't want to go too bright with them. They're not full on. We have to show that they're rot some way. Oh my gosh. I was getting prepared for my bath last night and I poured myself a nice glass of water, put it next to my bed, and then I was like setting my bed up. Like, so once I had my bath, I can just go straight to bed and be all snug as a rug. And, you know, do that thing where you go with your sheets to make it all nice and flat and go, yeah, did that. And it caught my glass. That was full of water, flavoured water. And it went all over my bed. I'm like, no! And my floor. I was like, no! Actually, it wasn't. It was more like, okay, that's a bit annoying. Well, I guess I did need to replace my towels anyway. So then I just used my towels to soak up all the water. And I had to change my bedding. Quickly. Where it's soaked through. Get everything underneath. I was very silly. Like, I noticed it. I was like, oh, that's going to hit the glass. I was like, all in slow motion. I was like, I could pull away, but the risk of pulling away is that it's more, you know, there's a good chance it will just clip the glass of the straw and just pull it down. Whereas if it just lands on top of it, it might not knock down the glass. But no, it just landed right on the edge and pulled it down. Oh. Look at that drop! Yeah. Highlight and correct with Moot Green. Then use some Cuptle or Clear Green shade or whatever it's called over that. I would maybe put a bit of Moot Green on top of it. That's like that. If you're wondering where Moot Green comes from, it's from Warhammer Fantasy, where the equivalent to the Shire, where the halflings live, is called the Moot. And they have a moot where, like, they do lots of important stuff, like decide if a halfling's going to go to war. Snug as a bug in a rug. I don't know if I want to paint the nails on these feet. I don't think I do. You're gonna barely be able to see from one side of the back to the other anyway. That's hard, especially on this guy. He's gonna have the drums in his way. There we go then. Just put him here. And then it's time to do the squig flesh. I think what I want to do is I want to go with squig orange. Do I have a squig orange here? Yeah. Or do I have a different? Maybe I'll go with Mephiston. I'll go with Mephiston red actually. Because that's a contrast. Well, squig orange I can do onto like the underbelly with some yellow as well. Mephiston red, is it called? No, bar red, that's a contrast. Mephiston is the layer or whatever. But once again, it's a contrast, so we need to make sure to give it a super good shape. I find the camera really, really useful for trying to figure out if there's still sediment at the bottom. Super speed! Go! Shaking up, 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 shaking up. Sediment. Looks like some sediments though. Let's change the way I'm shaking it. There we go. Let's get some ball of red on this squig. Lines. That's very, very minor freehanded, but minor freehanded. How you start doing freehanded. Very simple stuff where you get a grasp of it. And the thing about doing the contrast is that it doesn't really, if you do go over a little bit, sometimes it just darkens it rather than replacing it. That blue on top does look a bit shiny. Might need to reduce that sheen with some Caligar blue. There's a Caligar in my paint pot. I think I use Caligar blue on most of my minis. It's a very useful blue colour. That means there's a little bit of Caligar in every mini. This guy has big old nails. I could paint them properly, I guess. Bony colours. They must have cost again. I want to try creating a yellow to orange to red gradient with the underside being yellow. But maybe I don't. But I did that for the fuel squig. On the battle wagon. This is only my second time painting squig. That wasn't a squigger. That was actually just a triceratops. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Coming together. Bit by bit. Do you think squigs are red because they go fast? Or do you think squigs go fast because they're red? That's a question. The squigs are pretty fast, aren't Like that's where you got for Squig Hog Boys. Squigs are pretty fast. Get into melee much quicker if you ride a Squig. That being said, you got for Pink Squig Orange. That being said, you got Word Bearers Red if I tell you to use Corn Red on them instead. With the official paint scheme nowadays, but that's because Word Bearers used to be more of a dark brownish red colour. And that's changed in recent years. Which I don't like. I think I preferred when they weren't as bright red. Oh yeah. It's coming together. Bit by bit. Paint by drop of paint. These wiggly beasts. What's that sort of squig is? Wiggly beasts. He's looking more like a proper. It's got to make a mic beat. That basically means, do you know if a singer of a band is a squig since it's the only one with a microphone? Do you think it goes Rah! Really well? Or do you think it's actually just like got a really nice voice? And he sings like you know, the Titanic theme tune. Wig singing the Titanic theme tune. I say theme tune, it's not really a theme tune. Dear You from Higurashi. Hello. What would be the funniest song for a squig to sing? Like, you see a squig step up to a microphone and just like the least expected thing. And it actually sings it well. Hi, Tar! Happy 17th of May, everyone. Happy 17th of... What's on 17th of May? Is there something special about today? Or, you know, it's just, you know, you just want people to be happy. There we go. I've got a little squig. Look, he's got a microphone. It's your national day. Oh. Nice. What do you do on your national day? It's a bank holiday. Do you have the traditions? What you're meant to do? I don't know much about it, so as you can probably tell. Is it like a saint's day, like our national day is, you know, Saint... What is it? Saint George? Saint Andrew? I don't know. One of the saints. And you got another saint from Scotland. Another saint for Ireland. Another saint for Wales. And they're all for national days. The saint days. We watch children's parade, eat and drink lots of good food and drink lots of cola! So what are you telling me is that this is a cola day? A cola day. Do the children parade about cola and just how tasty it is? We got the cola, it's tasty. We got cola, it's true. We got cola, it's tasty. We got cola for you. Gimme, 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 gimme all of the cola. Wanna drink it all. Gimme, 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 gimme all of the cola. Wanna drink it all. There we go. Oh, there's a squiggly beast right there. Is that a bit of a mist on the... It's a bit of mist on the leg. And the other leg too, the inside part of the leg. Oh, very difficult to get to. Very difficult indeed. I'll get there. If I can see it, my brush can reach it. Where's my tissue gun? So what have you eaten then today? Are you making yourself a super fancy meal again? Are you spoiling yourself and getting takeout? I started the day with a good breakfast. Sparkling wine for breakfast. What the heck? Brioche sandwich with sour cream, caviar, mayo. My goodness! That meal could buy you like 2,000 points of Warhammer. Crawfish tails, caviar, sour cream, brioche sandwich. Okay, brioche sandwich is pretty normal. Sparkling wine. Smoked salmon sandwiches. What the heck about, man? Well, I mean, it was a lot of sandwiches. Maybe he got on a Tesco meal deal. And he got like the club card price and had 600 quids knocked off the price. It was like £3, £1.50. Strictly speaking, only around 500 points worth of Warhammer. 500 points worth of Warhammer! That's like an entire combat patrol. What the heck is, dude? And if you sold it at a restaurant, you could sell it for way more. You're well shaming us. What did I have for breakfast? I had a Cocoa Pops bar for breakfast. And then I had afterwards a rich tea biscuit. And then when I was making my main meal, I had another rich tea biscuit. And I had a glass of apple juice and all my vitamins, yeah, and a hay fever tablet when I was having my breakfast. Then what else did I have with my breakfast? Cheeseburgers. No. And then for my main meal, I had tempura chicken, which I fried up in the air fryer and just threw it into a bed of lettuce with a tiny bit of sprinkled cheese on top and some vinegar and salt. Yeah. I'm making up for the past couple of days though. Because, you know, my mother got like loads and loads of food. And it's like all going to go off. So yesterday I had like a whole roast of like pre-cooked chicken. A whole lot of it. thrown into, what did I throw it into? Oh yeah, I baked up, I was feeling lazy, but I had to like cook loads of food. So I just threw in like a tin of baked beans into a pot and like started heating it up. Threw a couple of pieces of toast on as well. And well, actually, when I was pretty much finished, then I threw in just basically an entire pack of chicken and some tomato puree and chives and parsley and pepper and salt and made some really weird cooked up thing. It was tasty. It was like the chicken was like had the best before date like 3 days ago or 3 days before, but it was a fresh pack, like it was unopened and it hadn't started doing the entire thing of, you could tell when an unopened food. Simple cream cheese bagel, ooh. Or you pimps your beans, nice, kind of. What did I throw? I threw in paprika as well. So that was nice. And then I just put on some toast with some cheese. I was like, it was actually really nice in the end. But I'm way too much. But do you know when you got like a pack of like meat or whatever and it's like sealed in plastic or whatever, and you can tell when it's starting to go off if the plastic bulges out like that? Or do you know whether it's like it feels like there's pressure and it's under pressure of some kind? That's genuine for meat started to go bad and it's releasing lots of gases because of the bacteria. It's like, oh. But it hadn't done that yet. So if the meat was good. But it was like, I don't know how long it was going to go for. And for other day, because my mother bought like a kilo of mincemeat, so I've been throwing bits of it because she wanted like a half a quart or something, but the butcher gave her a full kilo, and rather than complain, she just bought it. So I've been throwing bits of it into my pasta sauces and making some bolognese all week. But then there's still a big amount left, and it all started to brown and stuff. It's like, this is not gonna last much longer. So the day before yesterday, I just threw it all into a frying pan, threw tomato puree at it, like made a nice bolognese sauce effectively, paprika, parsley, chives again, you know, all the good stuff, basil, lots of basil, and oregano. And then it ended up being 4 eggs because I split 1 egg and it was like half an egg came. It didn't go into the container. So it was like 3.5 eggs and I whisked them all up and made a super thick omelette, but the frying pan was a bit too small. Because I wanted to make a stuffed omelette because I've been watching Spy X Family and they keep making stuffed omelette. I'm like, I really want a stuffed omelette now. I've been making kind of stuffed omelettes, but it's like a proper big stuffed omelette. Yeah. But then it was like a small frying pan because the other frying pan had been used. And was like filthy. I couldn't be bothered washing it. So then it didn't want to cook through properly, the omelette, without burning underneath. And then it, you know, it was really nice though. Really tasty. And gosh, it was like super, super fluffy. I was like, oh, tasty. And it went really well for mincemeat and bolognese and stuff. Like, oh yeah, so much protein in my diet. Can't you find a good chili recipe that works with your dietary system? I don't know. That's a good batch meal to make and freeze individually. I don't like freezing food a lot of the time. Because when you try like microwaving them, especially mincemeat, it spits. Like when you try, I guess you can always take it out beforehand, but you know, that requires me to decide, you know, in the morning or actually the night before, like I'm gonna have the finger cooked up today and then like tomorrow. But then often it's like the next day I'm like, I don't want that anymore. Or it's like you microwave it up and it spits everywhere. It's like, no. Or, you know, it just tastes weird. I don't like it. And often what happens, if I decide to cook up a lot of food, I'll just be like, you know, I'm just going to have this for the rest of the week. I mean, it's just every day that week I eat it. I was like, this is good. And then once I've finished, I'm like, I don't ever want to eat this again, or at least not for another couple of weeks. You know, it's just like, yeah, it's Gabby spaghetti bolognese today and tomorrow and the day after and the day after and the day after and the day after. You don't know the microwave! What the heckers? Sometimes I can't even be bothered cooking properly, so I just throw things that shouldn't be microwaved into a microwave, but it still cooks them anyway. Also, how do you make amazing fish? Like, the best fish is cooked in a microwave. Like, seriously. If you've never had microwave salmon, you don't know what you're missing. Like, there's even, like, fancy restaurants, and if they cook fish, they specifically have a microwave just so they can cook fish really, really well. Excuse me, microwaves are amazing. The microwave is the last, but no, the micro... Seriously. If you can, like, get some wax paper or whatever, do you know, for cooking wax paper, or... like some way of sealing, maybe wrap it up in, like, you know, for plastic stuff, not aluminium obviously, cling film, like with some butter or whatever else you want to put on the fish, put it in the microwave, perfect every time. Well, you probably need to figure out how long you need to put it in for, but it's amazing. Seriously, just look up recipes of microwaving fish. It gives you some really good stuff. You'll see I'm not lying to you. I'm telling the truth. That fish is amazing. Yeah, there's even fancy restaurants that like microwave fish. Really. And it's not reheating fish, it's literally fresh fish that you want to be throwing in there. There you go. That looks nice. I'm not desecrating fresh caught trout by nuking it. That should be illegal. It goes in a foil packet with butter, salt and pepper, fresh dill, and some lemon. Yeah, you do all of that. But don't put it in foil. Just put it in the microwave. Doesn't even take long. It's like a couple of minutes. And it's just, it makes the most perfectly succulent steamed fish imaginable. Or pan-seared in butter. I mean, that's different. If you want to sear it or whatever, that's fine. But yeah, it makes it just so succulent and delicate. Like, you just put your knife into it and it's like, just falls to pieces. Like, oh. But it's because, you know, fish, it's very, very wet, and microwaves work by effectively vibrating the water molecules, cooking them. So it goes all the way through the fish, just getting all of those water molecules, bringing them to a boil inside the fish without, you know, cooking the meat necessarily straight away. So all the steam just like gets all up inside. It's like, and then the butter on top will just seep all the way into it, and it's like, yeah. That's why I want to wrap it up in like wax paper or, you know, cling film or something though. Catch all that steam. Yeah, just look it up. You know, you find out. No word of a lie. They've probably discarded the fish skin is also very tasty when fried to a crisp in butter. Never been a fan of fish skin. Every so often, that being said, it's like I generally the only fish I kind of eat at the moment is just fish fingers. That's because you can just throw them into an air fryer or whatever, or just like make a sandwich with them. Well, I hoped I'd finish them today, but obviously I just overestimated my abilities again. What do I want? Do you think I can just go over with... I want to check something with Bad Moon Yellow. Is it Bad Moon Yellow I want? No, Iron George Yellow. That's a good yellow. That's a good one to choose. Billy! Billy-o! No, it's Billy-o. That's Joff again. I have to do pink inside for mouths and for the tongue, like pink colour. I got pink colour. I've also got full green pink now. That might be very good for the tongue and for that paler pink. And then maybe some Carrienberg crimson inside it. One doesn't want to stay open. There we go. This doesn't look too bad actually. And I'm gonna have to get a proper layer yellow to fix some of the issues. But that was pretty good. That looks nice. That looks nice for what I want anyway. Just the guitar. I'll dry brush very carefully the wires into place with some metal. Lead voucher. I want yellow on the squig as well, but I'm gonna have to get a proper yellow colour onto it. Okay, next major colour, I think it's black for this thing, black for his guitar head, black for his stool, black for his sunglasses, and black for these things. Oh, and he's got a pedal here as well. Yeah, black for the pedals. Hi, Flash! Nothing wrong with a fish finger sarnie, but I prefer them pan-seared in lots of butter. Also don't own an air fryer, I have a hot air oven instead, so same thing, only bigger. I do have a hot air oven, like it's got a fan on and stuff. It just takes like 15 minutes to get the oven to temperature. The air fryer, by comparison, is about 10 seconds. Like, by the time that the oven is up to temperature to cook in, I can have already cooked a meal in the air fryer. Similarly, it's also way easier to clean an air fryer. Like, it's just got the pan, you just throw some water in it, some soap, and just rush inside it, and it's just done. Trying to clean out an oven is annoying. And for grills and stuff. The other thing is I just find it generally also cooks quicker. Like, after you heat up the oven, it takes like half an hour to cook something that would take 10 minutes in the air fryer. Even though it's a convection oven, it's got a big fan in it and stuff, it should be relatively quick. Nah, it still takes forever. I mean, to be fair, my oven is ancient, so it's not the best. There we go. Yeah. So what should I do? I mean, black is gonna be a lot of work. It is for next only. Oh yeah, the microphone also wants to be black. That wants to be gunmetal. That wants to be gunmetal. I would rather do the blacks first. Gunmetal, gunmetal, gunmetal. Gunmetal, gunmetal. Bronze. Wire colours. Maybe red again. I could do the mouths quickly. I'll do the inside of the mouth. You hate waiting 8 to 12 hours for beef parmesan. Then yeah, the thing is, I don't have a lot of time to cook. I don't have a lot of energy. I've said before, I'm a very ill person. And one of the big things that I'm ill with is a stomach condition. So food has like, every time I eat, I'm rolling a dice if it's going to make me ill or not, even if it's something I should be able to eat. And put me in pain. Well, actually, whatever I eat is always going to put me in pain. So that entire meal preparation, I don't often feel like doing a meal preparation for something. Like, I don't enjoy eating. I don't enjoy food to the same extent that most people will. Even when I am enjoying my food. So I never find that same worth in, you know, spending time cooking something. And when it comes to, like, if it's something like that would take 12 hours, like a stew or whatever, or doing a super long time, if the prep to make it isn't too long, then I don't mind that. Like, okay, I can spend those few hours doing something else, and it will cook me a lot of food. But it's generally just things like doing all the prep and so on. Like, there's not a lot of stuff you can do in for 15 minutes that you're waiting for the oven to heat up, other than like prepare food and stuff. Yeah. So it's also sometimes I'm just in pain. I just can't be bothered cooking anyway, which is just like a lot of life. You're in pain. You just can't be bothered. You just can't be bothered. Don't have the energy to care. And to be fair though, I guess it is a bit of an excuse, because I do know other people with, you know, similar conditions to me, and they enjoy cooking and stuff a lot more than I do. That being said, most people enjoy a lot more stuff than I do. I'm a very weird person. Get some pink on the lip. There we go. Do. I'm gonna need some moot green to fix up something. Let's experiment. Has the bond got a name yet? No, no one's given any names of them. Off stream, we did do some. People were given some ideas. And one of the ones I came up with was... Oh no, someone came up with War Day. Oh no, Green Skin Day. What did I do? It was My Chemical Romance. But... Oh, My Green Romance. That was my suggestion. Instead of My Chemical. And instead of doing na 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 na. No, oh, how does it go? Na 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 na. I can't remember the tune for na 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 na. Na 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 na. Yeah, I can't remember the tune for it. But anyway, I suggested that one. Def Jam. That could work. Especially since they're deaf schools. Def Jam. That could definitely work. Oh, there's bits of stuff inside here. Where's my big old brush? I need to get some of the stuff that's inside here out of here. That's spider's web that came into here. What the heck? Feels like it might have been. There we go. Yeah, how do most people go about painting vehicles? That's the thing I am most worried about trying to do at the moment. Like, Arc Death Dreads have so much going on. I have to show you an image. Death Dreads. Oh yeah, what's is it? This thing. Oh yeah, the Spartan tank has new sponsons. But where are the Death Dreads? Death Dreads. Xenos armies. Green skins. Which is also known as Arc. Look how complex the Death Dread model is. Like, look at all it's got going on. It's an extraordinarily intimidating model to paint, and I've got 2 of them and 3 kilocans. How's this one painted? Yeah, they give them relatively simple looking schemes, but when you look at this, like metal, blue bits here, red bits, metal bits, pink wires, bronze bits, metal, bronze. It's like so many different things just going on all over the place. The Death Dread looks good. It does look good, but it looks hellish to paint. So I've got 2 Death Dreads undercoats and 3 kilocans. And I'm just like... Oh, I actually think that's spittle coming out of its mouth. Okay. What colour would its spittle be? Yellow. Yeah, we can paint the spittle a nice yellow colour. Yeah, bit by bit coming together. In chalky fashion, I'll just airbrush them with red primer and pick out details of colours. True. I've pushed through. I sprayed them the same colour as these guys, Sandry does. I think I'll just go with like a massive brush and just start brushing blue all over them. House or blue. Actually, what I might do for metal colours first, and then go over with Tausar blue, so it looks like, and then Cowgar blue for highlights and stuff. And then maybe dry brush it with, you know, another metal colour, so it looks like they had an unpainted thing, and then they just threw a whole load of paint all over it, so if it gets onto any of the mechanisms, you know, it's gone. And the dry brushing off the metal is just to, you know, make it look all damaged and inked up. Yeah, Kallienberg Crimson should work well inside for now. And there's some Fulgrim Copper, Fulgrim pink should also be very nice inside for now. Especially with the tongue. There we go. Yeah, I might just go with that idea. Still, there's going to be a lot of parts that I want to do metal. I think black would be another good colour on it, like for a lot of the mechanisms. I think black's a very good colour with a blue, because if you paint a lot of the mechanisms black, they'll just kind of look, they're kind of hidden and all merged together without it looking too important. They are definitely the most entertaining, but when you have a horde of them to paint, like, how many? I've got 2 Death Dreads, 9 killer cans, 6 of them are looted killer cans. That's my favourite part for arcs. It's a building, you know, just random junk. Like, the looted killer cans are basically, you know, old-fashioned sentinels that have been, you know, repurposed into arcy things that are crewed by Gretchen. And it's really cool. I love it. And I really love, like, my battle wagon and stuff that we painted. Where is... I'll try to get these guys painted more off stream. If I finish from off stream, I'll post a picture on the Discord and YouTube. But there we go. To next week, though, we're not going to be painting them because it is... Wait, wrong one. Oops. Oh no, what do I do? There we go, it's fine. It's Mechanicus week next week. Look at this. This is the schedule. I'm at the dentist this week. But we're building Mechanicus stuff. At the start, I'm going to be trying to make my own conversion of gold. Into like my own fabricator general for an explorator fleet. And we've got the building admech. Yeah! As well. So we're going to be going through like a combat patrol and whatever. And that's going to probably be a long stream. And then Mechanicus 2 comes out Thursday. So obviously Friday we're going to play it. And on Saturday. And then we're painting for... I'll try to get from Sprayed either over Tuesday or over Thursday. So we can paint them on the Sunday. Next week on Cupcon Ball said. Yeah. Oh gosh, find out what's going to happen. Find out next week. But thankfully, next Saturday, I don't have to worry about any big business expenses on Warhammer. War. If I do really want for I can wait for Falcon. It's not like a special thing. It's not where it's going to be a one and done. And I've got so much other stuff to do beforehand. A week after, I'm planning to do Arc Week and, well, Armageddon Week. So I want to do stuff that Dino is coming in for Armageddon box. So painting some arcs up. Because I got a bunch of arcs that need painting. Painting some, maybe building a storm speeder. That might be fun. We're going to read Armageddon lore and stuff like that. But that's like not next week, that's a week after. But I really need to go to a little cupcake room. So thanks for coming to the stream. And I'll give you all a last love heart before we go. Last love heart. Oh my gosh, look at all the paint. I got all this paint on me. Oh no. Big love hearts to you all. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Remember to work hard but play harder. Eat good food. Sleep well. Dream of cupcakes but don't eat cupcakes as a friends and not food. And remember to take care of yourselves, be kind to others and vice versa. And all of that good stuff. Love you all, and don't forget to like the stream, please, because it does help me out. Every like is a prayer to God and Mark. Yeah. Smash. Love you all.